I didn't leave. I was always there. He fell, and I watched. And here is the thing I have to tell you. My chest didn't move. There was a half second where a parent's chest should pull tight. Mine went flat. I noticed the absence of the feeling. I called that calm. I now know it's called the freeze. And he learned it from my body before he could speak. If you are watching this and something in you just went quiet, not sad, not defensive, just quiet, that's not guilt. That's recognition. And this video is for you. Stay with us. On Wired for Intense, the Unquiet Mind. And for 16 years we have worked with the science of emotional survival, specifically the ways our nervous systems learn to protect us from love, long before we were old enough to question whether that protection was still necessary. This is not about whether you love your child. I know you do. This is about something that happened before love could reach them. Something in your nervous system, not your character, not your intention, that learned, a very long time ago, that going still was safer than staying open. Your body taught itself to disappear, and your child's body has been learning from yours. By the end of this video, you will understand why your nervous system learned to go quiet. Not because you didn't love enough, but because your body was taught that presence was dangerous. You'll see what your child's body is recording right now. And you'll have one thing you can do today, not to fix what happened, but to interrupt what's still happening. This is called the freeze handoff, and it ends the same way it began. One body, one moment, one signal that doesn't have to be suppressed anymore. They'll call it emotional absence. That's not wrong, but it's not the whole truth either, and the part they leave out is the part that will actually help you. Because absence implies a choice, a turning away, a decision made. What happened in your body was none of those things. Your nervous system, not your heart, not your intentions, your nervous system, learned something in childhood. It learned that staying open was dangerous. That feeling too much led somewhere bad. So it built a protection, a shutdown, quiet, automatic, invisible even to you. Researchers call it dorsal vagal shutdown, your body's oldest emergency brake, designed not to help you fight or run, but to make you disappear inside yourself when the world asked for more than you had been taught to give. You didn't choose it. You didn't know it was happening. That's not a defense. It's a mechanism. And here's the thing about mechanisms. They don't care how much you love someone. They fire before love can reach the surface. Before your chest can open. Before your face can say, I see you. I'm here. The shutdown came first. Every time. Think about the house you grew up in. Not the worst day. Not the crisis. The ordinary Tuesday. The dinner table. The ride home from school. Was there a person who asked what you were feeling, and then stayed in the room long enough to hear it? Or did the room just shift? Go quiet. Tighten slightly around the edges whenever something real came up. Not cruel. Nobody was cruel. Nobody left. Nobody said feelings are dangerous here. They didn't have to. The temperature said it. You brought something tender into the room once. Some fear, some hurt, some need that was too big for the space. And the air changed. Nothing dramatic, just a cooling, a subtle withdrawal. The conversation moved on, and your body took notes. It learned, this is not safe to bring here. It learned, manage this, contain this, solve this privately, and come back when you're presentable. That was the wound, not what anyone did to you. What consistently didn't happen. The disruption that never came. The moment nobody stayed inside with you. Maya learned it the same way, quietly, completely, before she ever became a mother. Here is the part nobody has told you, and I need you to stay with it, because this is the moment everything shifts. You didn't feel yourself going cold, not because you didn't care, not because your child didn't matter, but because the signal, the internal signal that should have told you he needs me, stay open. Your nervous system had learned not to receive it. There is a word for this. Interoception, your body's ability to feel itself from the inside. The tightening in the chest, the pull toward someone who is hurting, the warmth that moves you toward contact. Securely attached adults feel those signals clearly. They get the message. They move toward. Avoidant adults, measurably, neurologically, receive those signals at a lower frequency. Not zero, lower. Muffled. Like a transmission your body sent but your nervous system had learned to filter out. Craig Porges. Nature Reviews Neuroscience, 2009. This is not theory. Your body was sending the signal. Your nervous system had learned not to receive it. So you didn't withdraw on purpose. You withdrew because the message never arrived. You didn't know you were doing it. That is not an excuse. It is the mechanism, and the mechanism is where the repair begins. So how does it pass? Not through the big moments, not through the fights, the failures, the days you got it badly wrong. Those are not where it travels. It passes in the small ones. The moment your child came to you with something trembling in their hands, a fear, a need, a hurt, too big for their small body, and your face didn't move. Not because you didn't love them, because the signal didn't arrive, because the shutdown came first. They noticed, not consciously. They were too young for conscious. But their nervous system was taking notes the same way yours once did. In that childhood house, at that dinner table, in that car ride home. This person goes quiet when I need them, so I will stop needing them. Mary Main. Adult Attachment Interview, 1985. A parent's attachment narrative predicts their child's attachment pattern with 75% accuracy. Not 50, 75. This is the freeze handoff, not a metaphor. A mechanism, passing not through cruelty or neglect, but through micro moments of emotional withdrawal, so small you never saw them, so consistent. Your child's developing nervous system built its entire architecture around them. Leah didn't choose to go quiet. He learned it from Maya's body, the same way Maya learned it from hers. Here is the myth that is costing you everything. Calm parenting means safe parenting. You believed it. Of course you did. Every voice in the room told you the goal was regulation, steadiness, no yelling, no drama, no emotional weather that might damage the children. And you were steady. You were so steady. But here is what Mary Ainsworth found in 1978, watching mothers and infants in a room. The study that changed everything we know about attachment. The children who never cried when their mother left. The ones who seemed fine, adjusted, calm. Their cortisol levels were identical to the children who fell apart. The distress was identical. Only the expression was missing. Because they had already learned, before their first birthday, that expressing distress does not work. That the signal goes out and nobody moves toward them, so they stopped sending the signal. They didn't feel safe. They felt alone in a way that had no witness. Maya never yelled. Maya was always calm. To Leah's nervous system, that calm was not safety. It was cold, and cold, to a child's developing brain, registers the same as danger. The stillness you offered was the very thing that taught him he was on his own. This is the part where Maya sits with it. Not the idea of it, the weight of it, the specific, particular, unmovable fact of it. Leah's body recorded everything, not the big moments. Not the times Maya got it wrong, in ways she could see and name and apologize for. The small ones, the 10,000 micro moments of withdrawal that felt like nothing at the time. Because to Maya's nervous system, they were nothing. No signal arrived, no alarm sounded. She was simply there, and then she was somewhere else inside herself, and she never felt the distance open. But Leah felt it. Leah's stress response architecture was built inside that distance. Felitti, a study, 1998. Emotional unavailability. Not abuse, not violence, not abandonment. Emotional unavailability produces measurable, lasting changes in the way a child's nervous system responds to the world. The way it anticipates threat, the way it regulates, the way it connects, or doesn't. Maya has to sit with that. And so do you. Don't move through it too quickly. Don't reach for the reframe yet. The grief is not a detour. It is the work. Sit in the specific truth that your child's body was keeping score in a language you didn't know was being spoken. That the distance you couldn't feel was the distance they were measuring their worth against. Stay there. And then, only then, the second thing. You couldn't feel yourself withdrawing. Not because you didn't love him, because your nervous system had suppressed the signal. The interoception gap was not a character flaw. It was a biological inheritance. The wound was physiological before it was relational. Your body was doing what bodies do when they have been taught that staying open leads somewhere dangerous. It protected you the only way it knew. By going quiet. By turning down the frequency. By making the signal impossible to receive. You didn't know. That is not a defense. It was never about defense. It is simply true. And truth is the only ground repair can be built on. Maya sits in the corridor. Head down. The weight of what Leah recorded in one hand. The weight of what she couldn't feel in the other. Both real. Both true. Both finally hers to hold. She tried sorry first. Of course she did. It was the only language she had for damage. Words, carefully arranged, delivered with the right amount of eye contact and weight. I'm sorry I wasn't more present. I'm sorry I didn't know. I'm sorry for the distance you grew up inside. Leah received them the way the body receives an abstraction, politely, from a distance, because sorry lands in the mind, and the wound wasn't there. So Maya stopped talking. She sat down on the floor of Leah's room. Not to fix anything, not to explain the neuroscience. Not to perform a repaired version of herself. She sat down because her body was still learning that staying was possible. And she stayed in the discomfort of not knowing what to do next. And then Leah looked up. 4 seconds. That was it. No words, no breakthrough, no music. But inside Maya's chest, something moved. A signal arrived, faint, unfamiliar, that said, stay. And for the first time in their lives together, she received it. That look was the first co-regulation event in their relationship. It didn't look like healing. It looked like two people sitting on a floor. Here is the one thing, not a framework, not a practice. One thing, specific, bodily, available to you in the next hour if you need it. The next time your child comes to you distressed, crying, angry, collapsed, asking for something you don't know how to give, don't start with your words. Start with your chest. Scan it, that flatness, that slight tightening, that subtle impulse to close, to fix, to explain, to find a reason to step into the other room for just a moment. That is not you being a bad parent. That is your interoceptive gap opening. Your nervous system recognizing a signal it was taught to filter, and beginning, automatically, to disappear. You are about to do the freeze handoff. You don't have to stop it. You just have to stay in the room for 10 more seconds, then your body is asking you to leave. That's it. That is the whole intervention. Not because 10 seconds fixes anything. Because 10 seconds is your nervous system learning, for the first time, maybe, that presence doesn't have to end. The repair is not the apology. It's not the insight. It's the 10 seconds, again and again and again, until staying feels like something your body knows how to do. This is not a story about a healed parent. Maya did not emerge from the corridor transformed. She did not sit on that floor and suddenly become the mother she wished she'd had. The nervous system doesn't work that way. It doesn't respond to insight the way the mind does. With relief, with resolution, with the clean feeling of a chapter closing. It responds to repetition, to 10 seconds, offered again. And then again on the Tuesday when everything is loud and her chest goes flat and Leah needs something. Maya's body still doesn't know how to receive easily. She stays anyway, not because it feels natural, because she knows now what leaving costs. Not in the abstract, but in the specific architecture of her son's nervous system. In the silence, Leah learned to wear. That is what breaking the freeze handoff actually looks like. Not a breakthrough, a practice, unglamorous, incremental, happening mostly on floors and in car rides, and in the 4 seconds before Maya's body would once have found a reason to be somewhere else. There is no moment where it's finished. There is only the next signal, and the choice, slow, learned, increasingly possible, to receive it. Leah will not remember the neuroscience. He will not remember the name for what changed. But his nervous system will remember that at some point, the person who had always gone quiet started staying, started arriving, started sending signals his body could finally believe. That is the inheritance that replaces the other one. Not passed through cruelty, not passed through neglect, passed through 10 seconds, again and again, until presence stops feeling like danger and starts feeling like something else entirely. Something that might, eventually, feel like home. The freeze handoff ends the same way it began. One body, one moment, one signal not suppressed. That's all it ever was. That's all the repair has to be. Before you go, I want to ask you something. What was the first moment you noticed the freeze, in you or in the person who raised you? Join the Wired for Intense community as we move from frozen to felt. Subscribe, like, and share your story in the comments to keep learning the language your body has been speaking all along. We read them, and you might find, in what someone else writes, the words you didn't know you were looking for.